Hello, and welcome to the North American presentation of a special, long-awaited new range of chainsaws from Husqvarna. Today is exciting. If you're a chainsaw fan and appreciate power and performance, we have a couple of new saws that have been built to surpass your expectations. I'm Ben McDermott, Senior Brand Manager of the Husqvarna Professional Chainsaw product range here in North America. Our main subject today is the new Husqvarna 90cc chainsaw lineup. But let's start first by taking a look at the history of Husqvarna. More than 330 years ago, in 1689, Husqvarna was formed to produce muskets for the Swedish Army. A fun fact, the Husqvarna logo design is based on the shape of a musket barrel and sights. Over the years, Husqvarna has been known for developing tools that are innovative and highly productive, from bicycles to motorcycles and sewing machines to home appliances. Then, in 1959, more than 60 years ago, the very first Husqvarna chainsaw, the Model 90. The Model 90 was developed to solve three main challenges faced by loggers. First, it was designed to be considerably lighter in weight than other products available at the time. It was also noticeably more quiet. And third, the signature Husqvarna orange color was developed to increase visibility of the tool in the forest. Since then, our chainsaw legacy has been characterized by continuous improvements and technical innovations that move the entire industry, from auto-tune and X-Torque to air injection and X-Cut. Throughout it all, one thing has been at the front of our minds: our customers. We work to develop and advance the industry, to innovate and invent, to make your workday better. This brings us to today. We're proud and excited to share our next step, our latest innovation and addition to the legendary range of Husqvarna professional chainsaws. Saws that are built to tackle your most demanding work wherever it may be. The Husqvarna 592 XP and the Husqvarna 585. To help me introduce the new saws, I'd like to welcome two ISA certified arborists, Emily Roberts and Jeff Perry.
Thanks, Ben. I'm so glad to be here. I've been running chainsaws professionally for over 13 years. My career started in the U.S. Forest Service as a hazard tree feller in 2008 in Idaho. I was also an arborist for Washington State Parks. Between these jobs, I've worked in forests all over the country. I became an ISA certified arborist in 2014. These days, I run my own tree care business and still live in Washington. And because I love this industry and its community, I'm also an instructor. By training others, I'm helping advance the industry, making it safer, more efficient, and more fun. Training is a big part of my career. I love sharing my knowledge and passion for exceptional tree care.
Thanks, Emily. We're really glad you can join us. And Jeff, thanks for joining us as well.
Thanks, Ben. I'm really happy to be here. A little bit about my background. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I'm an operations manager for Heartwood Tree. Previously, I owned my own tree care business that gave me an opportunity to travel all over the country and work on some of the biggest trees in my career. I've been working with chainsaws for over 15 years now, so it's really exciting to be a part of this new evolution.
Before we get any further, let me formally introduce the new chainsaws. Here we have the 592 XP and the 585. These chainsaws are in the 90cc class. Therefore, they're designed to do the toughest work on the largest trees. Could you both give us a little insight into a workday with large diameter trees?
Yeah, larger cuts create their own set of challenges. Whether you're climbing or felling, double cutting is a very difficult process and doesn't leave much room for error. It's also very taxing on the saw. That's why, to me, it's important to have the right tool for the job.
You know, Jeff is right. Large trees can present some unique hazards. I always say a sharp saw is a safer saw, and the same goes for power. Situations arise in our workdays that just straight up demand a full throttle, super powerful chainsaw. When we're working with hazard trees, whether the wood is decayed and one being felled, or we need to reduce the probability of barber chairs, sometimes we just need a rip-and saw that can make fast, efficient cuts. And man, we sure have that in both the 585 and the 592 XP.
Great to hear. One question I often hear is, why two saws? Why does Husqvarna have two professional 90cc chainsaws? And the answer is that we've found customers that have different needs. Some professionals are measured by their productivity and require a high level of efficiency and endurance. The 592 XP is a perfect match for them because, in that regard, it is truly best in class. Others need a chainsaw that's a robust workhorse. They need a saw that's rugged, and that's where the 585 shines. Its modern features are paired with a more traditional engine technology. Let's talk about what really makes these saws special, and that's power. With 93 cc's and 7.6 horsepower, the 592 XP delivers best-in-class cutting capacity.
Ben, I hear the term cutting capacity a lot. Can you define it and explain how it makes my job easier?
I sure can. Cutting capacity describes how well and how quick a chainsaw performs its main task, cutting through wood. It's a measure of the saw's efficiency, the speed at which the entire system of the bar, chain, and power head work together. We've tested this in lab conditions with independent agencies, and we're able to measure the chainsaw's capacity. When we compare those results to other brands, we can say that without a doubt, the 592 XP has the best cutting capacity. Bottom line is that you'll be able to get more done in less time with the 592 XP. So now let me ask you both, how important is it that a chainsaw deliver enough power?
Ben, it's super important. If I'm working with a chainsaw that doesn't have enough power, I know that it puts more stress and strain on my body. But the 592 XP is not underpowered. I'd say the exact opposite, actually. It's the most powerful 90cc chainsaw that I've ever used.
Jeff, what about you? What are your impressions of the power and performance from the 592 XP?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've been using the 592 for nearly a year now, and I can say I'm really impressed. I love the sound, I love the weight, the X-Tough light bar, the X-Cut chain, all really fantastic combination.
That's great to hear. And let's not forget about the 585 when it comes to power. At 86 cc's, it delivers a powerful 6.9 horsepower. I mentioned that the 592 XP has best-in-class cutting capacity. It also has another industry-leading best-in-class measure. With 7.6 horsepower and a weight of 16.3 pounds, the 592 XP's power-to-weight ratio is the best of any chainsaw in the 90cc class. This means you get the very best combination of performance and maneuverability. So Jeff, a 90cc chainsaw is not a small tool. Why is power-to-weight ratio so important?
Yeah, power-to-weight ratio is extremely important, especially with larger saws. When I'm working on larger removals, I want to minimize fatigue as much as possible. Having more power with minimal weight translates to much more efficiency throughout the day.
I agree. And one thing that allows us to be more efficient is the ability to maneuver and work the saw easier. To me, the 592 XP doesn't feel or handle like a typical 90cc chainsaw. It has much more power, and it's built into a smaller package.
I'm glad you mentioned maneuverability. We'd like to say that's part of the Husqvarna design DNA, and it's built into all of our professional chainsaws. Again, keeping our customers' needs and the cutting experience at the front of mind, our design choices are purposeful. The result is a chainsaw that gives you maximum control with a minimum effort. Jeff, what do you think about the Husqvarna DNA elements built into these new chainsaws?
Yeah, I would say simply it just makes it easier to handle. For the narrow body and the front handle, they really work well together. I feel like it takes less effort to move around when getting into position to make a cut, and it's even great while working aloft. I know my body really appreciates the ergonomic design, and I could tell a big difference when compared to other 90cc saws.
It's great to hear. Emily, how about you?
I have to agree with Jeff. The DNA, as you call it, makes a huge difference. The ability to turn the saw without having to fight extreme counterforces definitely results in less fatigue. When running a Husqvarna compared to other brands, I find it's really just easier to maneuver. The saw also feels really well balanced, even with longer bars.
So we've spent a little time talking about performance, talking about maneuverability. Now let's talk about reliability. The 592 XP is equipped with the latest generation of AutoTune, version 3.0. This update enables a new, easy way to start the saw. If it's hot or cold, the process is the same. A simple, single, run-on-choke procedure. Emily, can you talk a little bit about your experience with this new starting procedure?
For me, Ben, it's been fantastic. Hot or cold, all you have to do is purge with fuel, press the decomp valve, put the saw into start mode, and pull. It also eliminates the risk of flooding, which is amazing.
Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, it's been great. No issues. You know, the saw fires up every time. I've been using saws for a long time, so it's really nice to bypass the typical starting procedures. And like Emily mentioned, preventing issues associated with flooding really cuts down on lost time and frustration.
AutoTune 3.0 is new, but we do understand there are those who prefer a more traditional technology, something that can be manually tuned and adjusted. For that, we offer the 585. It's equipped with an adjustable needle carburetor. We like to say the new 585 is modern 90cc performance paired with traditional technology. There's a lot more to both of the new chainsaws. A couple of the design updates that pros like yourselves may appreciate are the flip-up fuel caps, captive bar nuts, and molded felling sights. We've also increased and improved the air filtration. And one more thing you can't see from the outside of the 592 is the new magnetic fuel filter.
That's an amazing detail, Ben. So smart to filter out all the tiny metal particulate before it even gets into the carburetor.
Yeah, Ben, it seems like you guys have more of everything in these saws. So if someone asked you to summarize that in one sentence, what would it be?
One sentence is hard, but I'd have to say there are modern versions of a Husqvarna classic. They're just more of everything. 60 years of chainsaw experience built into 2 new models. Well, there you have it, the new 592 XP and 585 chainsaws. Before we go, I'd like to answer a few of the most frequently asked questions. The first is actually not about these chainsaws, but instead we've been asked about the future of the 390 XP and the 395 XP. Those are 2 of our truly legendary chainsaws, and at this time we have no plans to eliminate them from our product range. Your local Husqvarna dealer will still have the 390 XP and 395 XP, in addition to the new 585 and 592 XP. The next question is price and availability. The 592 XP starts at $1349 US dollars, $15.99 Canadian, and the 585 starts at $1249 US dollars, $14.99 Canadian. And I'm excited to say that Husqvarna dealers in North America will have the new chainsaws early in 2022. Emily and Jeff, thank you for being here to help us roll out the 592 XP and the 585 in North America.
Thank you, Ben. I've enjoyed using these new saws, and I'm so stoked for everyone to get the chance to run these beasts too.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. And please thank everyone at Husqvarna for their amazing new saws.
For more information on the 592 XP, 585, and all of our professional chainsaws, visit husqvarna.com.